Hey guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Dark Souls. So I mentioned at the end of the last episode what we'll be doing this episode. If you need a quick refresher, we are going to make our way to Darkroot Garden, and we are going to fight Sif in order to acquire an item that will allow us to actually fight the boss of New Londo Ruins, thus allowing us to speak to the Dark Serpent, thus allowing us to join probably the most fun Covenant in the game, the Dark Wraiths. And this is going to be great because we'll actually be able to see a lot of invasions. Man, Thornforge, you are not looking so good, buddy. You should get some Accutane. I don't know if that's an acne problem. He hasn't washed his face in a long time, though. So we're taking our pretty standard shortcut here back to the Undead Parish, and of course we are going to go to Andre of Astora, and the reasons for that are twofold. One, we just have to go through his area in order to get to the Darkroot Garden anyway. The other one is that we actually need to buy something off of him in order to get to the area where we will meet Sif. And we'll also meet a Covenant in this game, which is going to be pretty cool. Sif is normally a fairly difficult boss for most people, but he is one of those bosses you can essentially fight whenever you want, as long as you do it before you fight the boss at the end of New Londo Ruins. Just going to rest there so that if I die, somehow I will respawn pretty close. So yeah, I'm relatively late in the game to be fighting Sif, so I don't think he'll be too difficult, but, you know, I've been proved wrong before. He's kind of a personal Everest of mine. Now, we need 20,000 souls to buy that item off of Andre. This is maybe ill-advised, but I'm going to eat the soul of Smo, which is the soul that we got for defeating those two jackasses in Anor Londo. And I still don't have enough, so let's start crunching some souls here. Really, I could just farm to get up to 20,000. I will use the soul of the Moonlight Butterfly as well, because I made a thread on Reddit and it was basically like, which boss souls are super useful. That was only worth 1,200! And people were like, you know, a lot of the boss souls are pretty much useless, so, you know, just do what you can. 2,000? I might not even be able to get to 20,000 souls. I might have to farm those lizard guys for a little bit in Sen's Fortress, but only for like a minute or two tops. Let's use the... we can get rid of the transient curses for now, thankfully. And just start crunching large soul of a nameless soldier. Hopefully each one gives us about 1,200. 1,000. Oh man, it's going to give us just enough to buy the Covenant of Artorias. That's fantastic. But I can't die. If I die, well, we'll have already purchased it, so I guess it doesn't matter. One more. And this should put us at like 20,309. 21,309, maybe. 20,509, whatever. Talk to Andre. I'm not worried about his dialogue. Pretty much the same from now on. We will purchase... Did I already purchase the Covenant of Artorias? No, sorry, Crest of Artorias. That's what I meant. We'll purchase that. I would also really love to upgrade my Uchigatana to +10 so that next time I go to Anor Londo I can turn it into a Lightning Uchigatana. We'll do that when we come back, maybe. Because Lightning Uchigatana is going to be really useful when we get to the Demon Ruins. Of course, remember, the Demon Ruins is that, like, fire-infused area, as I so awkwardly mentioned in the last video. And obviously my Quelaag's Fury Sword, which is a fire-based weapon, is not really going to do a whole lot of damage to them, so having a lightning-based weapon is going to be fantastic. And, you know, there are other elemental weapons. For example, you could make, like, magic weapons, or... Again, you can make actual fire weapons not using boss souls like the way I made Quelaag's Fury Sword, but lightning weapons seem to be the preferred choice, at least for P versus P, like player versus player combat. Maybe it's a little bit different for player versus enemy. I mean, you can basically use whatever you want, but I prefer to use lightning weapons because you can get them relatively early in the game. Do we have to deal with... I thought there were some jabronis here. Where you at, jabronis? One right there. We die in 1 hit, 2 hits. Maybe I'm not as strong as I thought I was for this area. Definitely this character is weaker than my PvP character, but I did a lot of farming on that guy just to get good equipment. Of course, we're going to pick up some good mosses here, which will reduce bleeding or reduce poison. These are largely more important when you're going to Blighttown, but, you know, they'll come in handy a lot. If you really want to, like, do co-op at some areas, it's good to have these mosses. For example, it's good to have poison mosses if you want to co-op in Blighttown or invade in Blighttown. It's good to have bleeding mosses if you want to go to the catacombs, etc., etc. So we will rest at this bonfire. We can see another dude there using pretty much our exact same set, except he's got the Night Shield and some other kind of weapon. Now, we're going to open this door using the Crest of Artorias. That was what our 20,000 souls went to right there. And as soon as we get in here, we're going to get ambushed by basically NPCs. And I'll explain this a little bit later. For right now, I'm basically just going to run straight ahead. Okay, no, don't murder me. The reason I'm running straight ahead is that I can make these guys lose aggro really easily, and that's much better for me than fighting so many of them at once. So we'll just get out of the way here, roll out of the way of the hand axe, kind of a strange frame rate problem, and we have this cat that we need to talk to. You can see their aggro just goes away.
Thou fared well to find me, but cometh thee not for the grave of Sir Artorias? My advice true. Forget this. The legend of Artorias art none but a fabrication. Traversing the dark. 'Tis but a fairy tale. Have thine own respect. Go not yonder knocking for nothing, I say.
My decision here is yes. I kind of forgot what she said, though.
Well...
Perfect. Okay, right answer.
Thou art a strange one. Nevertheless, I feel some liking for thee. I'm Alvina of the Darkroot Wood. I command a clan of hunters who track down defilers of the forest graves. What dost thou say? Wilt thou not join us? Oh, yes, I believe we would suit thee well.
So she gives us the option to join her covenant. Doing this will make this next area a lot easier, so I am going to do this just until we get through the Sif boss fight.
I am very glad. And now thou art one of us. Let us establish a covenant.
Yes, I will join the covenant. Praise be to Alvina of the Darkroot Wood, blah blah blah.
And here taketh this ring. If thou wearest that ring, it allows for thine summoning. If mine senses reveal intruders, then I will summon thee. Fend them off, sir. I beseech only this. I shall summon others who will, by their honor, work tirelessly with thee. Thou shalt receive great reward, and whatsoever ye shall pillage will be thine own. A true agreement, not so? But thou must heed the golden rule. The clan is thine own family. To thine kinsmen forever stay true. Darest not in any attempt to double-cross. Have no doubt, such wretchedness never will we tolerate.
Alright, so essentially we joined the Forest Hunters Covenant. This is kind of a unique covenant, and also one of the more popular ones, at least for, player versus player combat. The way this works is if you equip the ring that she gave you, then you can actually be summoned whenever another person is human and enters this area in their own world, and they're not part of the Forest Hunters. So essentially you're kind of like a protector of the forest, like the green piece of the game, if you will. So oftentimes people will join the Forest Hunters Covenants because it means you can get a lot of invasions in. The only problem is you only get invasions in one area, and I'm not a huge fan of the Forest Hunters. I prefer to just be a member of the Dark Wraiths so I can invade wherever I want. But it's a cool option. I've never actually done much Forest PvP, but apparently it is pretty popular. Now, she made us promise not to find the Grave of Artorias. I'm not sure if fighting Sif will actually break our covenant, but what does it really matter at this point, right? So, we are going to go through here. I could probably stand to equip some better armor. Let's see what I'm at. I can add like 4 more weight and still have fast roll. Don't worry about what I'm saying. Maybe I'll just put on a... we're probably fine with what we have right now. Let me see. Maybe, can I equip like Silver Knight Helm? I would love that. No, I can't quite equip the Silver Knight Helm. We'll go with Gargoyle Helm. It looks cool anyway. Don't worry about, I was just managing my equipment so that I could still move quickly during the fight, but I have a little bit greater physical defense. Not much, but a little bit. So obviously we're going to open this door up, and then we will run towards this sword that you will see, and then we'll begin our fight versus the Great Grey Wolf Sif. I should really equip my Estus Flasks, which I just did, in order to ensure that I have quick access. Can be kind of a tricky boss. Alright, so Sif is apparently the guardian of Artorias' grave, let's put it that way. Maybe his dog or his companion earlier in life. Artorias is one of the Knights of Gwyn. Now, he's kind of a pain in the ass because his attacks take off a lot of stamina. Now, he has a few attacks that he goes to fairly frequently. One of them is going to be that attack that you saw there, that kind of like double strike. There's going to be another one which is a 360 attack, which is going to be particularly deadly. Main strategy for Sif is just exploit his retard dog AI and stand underneath him as much as possible. When he does an attack, try to manage your stamina and maybe maintain your distance. But if you get a chance to get under him, that's where you want to be. So there we go. This could be a good opportunity to get underneath him. As long as we're still avoiding, like we're outside of his range. You can see I'm doing a fair chunk of damage to him. This is more damage than you would expect someone to be doing at this point in the game. Frame rate's getting a little bit crazy because I don't know if Sif is really rendered that well up close, but this fight is going fairly well so far. That's going to be his it's going to be his double swipe up there. Stand back. Triple swipe. You can't triple swipe a double swipe. That's going to be his 360 attack. Luckily, I do have enough endurance because I leveled it up 100,000 times to actually block that, but I couldn't block that one, could I? Let's get close to him. Continue hacking away. Again, this fight is a marathon, not a sprint, and that's most of the advice that I've seen online regarding it. I'm trying to back up now so that I can actually use an Estus. His jumping attack, well, he's got a few jumping attacks, but some of his jumping attacks will hit us pretty much regardless. That 360 is a pain in the ass. That's okay. If we can get him into a corner, we're in a good position. Again, remember, this fight is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, the 360 is good. Please stop backing away from me. This is actually maybe the best I've ever seen his AI. Okay, there we go. Two-hand your weapon, get underneath him, and just start cutting his poor dog innards out. Did like half damage to him there. That's awesome. Like half of his total damage. The other thing we could do is, while we're far away, we could just spam him with Pyromancy. But it's a little bit, it's not risky, but you're probably going to miss a few times. If you're underneath him, no problem. You can quite easily do, whoa, 384 damage, that's pretty good. That didn't hit him at all, and that's more what I was referring to. You got to be pretty close to him in order to make sure you're going to get those off. He's very nearly dead. At some point, sometimes during the Sif boss fight, he will come down with a limp. That's just his way. Don't believe him. That's his way of trying to get on your good side. Oh, well, who's a scary little dog now? Fuck you, Sif. Feels good, man. Alright, so we got the Covenant of Artorias, Soul of Sif, Humanity, and a Homeward Bone. There's also another item over here. I believe it's the Hornet Ring. Awesome, that's going to make our parrying window a little bit better. Amazing ring. Yeah, that is pretty popular, actually. We might as well rate that up. Seems like that person, good head on the shoulders. Let's equip our Homeward Bones here, because I use them fairly frequently by this point in the game, and we will use one to go back to the bonfire. The reason I do this is because I'm not sure if I broke Covenant with the Forest Hunters by killing Sif. It seemed like Alvina was pretty fond of him. And that would require me, if I just walk back through the forest, probably getting aggro from all of those NPC phantoms. So, you know, why not just avoid that? We did get 40,000 souls. I'm going to use those to upgrade our Uchigatana into an Uchigatana plus 10. I think we have an Uchigatana plus 5 right now, which is good. And we also, of course, got the Covenant of Artorias. Covenant of Artorias essential in order to walk on the abyss, or traverse the abyss, as they say in their poetic language, which will allow me to actually fight the boss of New Londo Ruins. So we can, you know, be done with this little diversion that I was doing right here, and go back to the good stuff, which is essentially me getting butt raped over and over by those ghosts. Alright, try not to fall off the edge here. I'm really amazed how little I've died, not just in like this video, but also in the Let's Play in general. Oh my god, my cat. Relax! I'm just playing Dark Souls, you don't have to be scared. I know the commercial said prepare to die, but you know, if you have patience and you play the game a couple times, it's actually not that hard. It's like Contra on the NES. So as we make our way back through here, should be able, I hope I have enough large Titanite shards to upgrade my Uchigatana, because I can't buy large Titanite shards from Andre, which is annoying as hell, but I understand why it's there from a balance perspective. Otherwise you could get like a plus 10 weapon before you even fight the Bell Gargoyles, which would be crazy. But anyway, I suppose you could, well, maybe you could. Let's reinforce our Uchigatana. which is down here a little bit. Did I just skip by it by accident? I think I might have. I looked away from the screen for a second. Oh, first I have to modify it. Take it up to a +6. I don't have enough large Titanite shards. That's a shame, but I can always do this. I can buy large Titanite shards at the Giant Blacksmith in Anor Londo anyway. So I need 2 more large Titanite shards. That's okay. We got Uchikatana +9. That's fine for now. Probably a good idea to take this opportunity to repair all of our equipment. It's cheap, and it'll save us in the end. Not going to cost us too much. So basically anything that we've used is going to be a little bit damaged. What other items could I use right now? I want to go back to New Londo Ruins. With 40,000 souls, you know what? Let's warp back to Firelink Shrine. You can't warp from every bonfire to every bonfire, but you can always warp to Firelink Shrine, which is useful. When we get back there, we'll talk to Laurentius, which should allow us to upgrade our Pyromancy Flame to +15. And again, the reason I could spend these souls on something else, or I could save them and eventually buy something else with them, but I don't want to do that because I will almost certainly die the next time I go down to New Londo Ruins, which is unfortunate, but kind of necessity. Or necessary, I should say. Also, we'll pick up some good items in the bottom of New Londo Ruins. Hopefully pick up some Titanite chunks, maybe a Dark Hand. Who knows, man? Let's go back and talk to Laurentius, and hopefully... Good, he hasn't gone hollow. I think I've saved his life.
Oh, hello there. Oh, please. As always.
Such a nice guy. Let's buy... That's not what I wanted. Let's get our Pyromancy Flame up to +14. Can't quite get to +15. And what else can we buy off of him? Fire Orb is pretty good. Combustion is also really useful. Fire Orb is an upgrade for Fireball, isn't it? Improves upon Fireball. The flaming Fire Orb explodes upon impact, causing fire splash damage and spectacle, which seems to symbolize the strength of the fire-manipulating Pyromancers. You know what? Let's buy Fire Orb. And I won't buy Combustion, but it's... You know what? I might as well buy Combustion. It's 800. And then I'll go Attune Magic, and I'll Attune Fire Orb instead of Fireball.
Oh,
because I obviously want to keep Great Chaos Fireball, because it's my most damaging... Probably my most damaging way of attacking anybody at this point. Combustion's really cheap, and it's also really good against enemies that are weak against fire, because you get a lot of uses of it. So let's unattune Fireball. Put Fire Orb up instead. That gives us less uses, but that's alright. Now, just before we end the episode, and start the next episode going to New Londo Ruins... Worth noting, I could turn human here, and my hope would be to find someone to go through New Londo Ruins with. Unlikely, for 2 reasons. One, relatively low level for this part in the game. The further you get in the game, the more diverse people's builds get, but most people probably do not do New Londo Ruins at level 50, probably more in the 60+ range. That's true for all of the areas in the late game anyway. And also, this is a terrible area for co-op, because almost nobody puts their summon sign down. I guess if you were going to do it, you'd put it down right in front of the boss wall, but that's a long way away. I could easily be killed before then. So we're going to probably try to solo the rest of New Londo Ruins as well as the boss. Might require coming back to the bonfire a few times and then going back again, but oh well, them's the breaks, basically. A little bit of a shorter episode today, but I did accomplish exactly what I set out to do. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.